Good evening. Welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School football. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, being joined by Jim Allinder and Phil Hill for tonight's game against Madison Central here at J. Doyle Stadium. And gentlemen, the last time we covered an East Brunswick High School football game, East Brunswick was 0-4, came away 0-4. They're now 3-4, totally different season. So I'll start with Phil, who's covering the Bears tonight. Phil, it has been a different season.
It has been a different season. In the words of Marcus Borden, the kids never gave up on themselves, and we never gave up on them. And I think that's a big part of the story for this year. You remember last time we saw them, we were about writing them off with chances of winning anything. And now they've won 3 straight. Could have been 4. Gave Edison, the #1 team in the county here, the scare of their life. Played a super game against Perth Amboy last week, 26-6.
Right. Everything
Everything was clicking, offensive lines clicking, defenses clicking. They look like a different team. They are slightly a different team. Of course, Mark Neary is back, their starting quarterback, and you can see it has settled the whole team. Mark has brought his leadership, and he has created some balance there with his passing. They have established a running game now, not just Vernell Johnson anymore. Now you have Dave Christensen, 128 yards on 22 carries last week, averaging nearly 100 yards per game for the last 3 games. So now the teams cannot just key on Johnson. They have to watch Christensen as well. Brian Ternura is back. Brian has scored a touchdown in every game he's been in thus far, and plus added some defensive punch there. I said to Marcus, I said the biggest difference for your team is that injured players are back, and he just chuckled. He said, hey, we got some injured players back, but then we lost some people. They lost Eric Phillips out for the year, lost Dave Dixon out for the year, and recently perhaps their best lineman just this week, John Halley, out for the year. So Marcus, it's a cliche to say that coaches sometimes when they're have losing seasons have done their best job. Marcus Borden clearly has this year. This team believes in themselves, and they're going to make this game exciting tonight.
And speaking about tonight's game, Phil, Madison Central comes in, the Madison Central of old, working that wishbone. What does Madison Central present for East Brunswick in terms of problems?
Well, Jimmy's going to tell you a lot about it. They're going to create a lot of problems for him, but you got to realize this Bear team is not afraid of Madison Central. They came in, if you remember, 2 years ago, 22 victory string intact, and the Bears knocked them off 10-9 while Madison was headed for the state playoffs at that time. The Bears are not afraid of them. Beat them last year 17-0. Marcus Borden is going to have these guys ready. I think you're going to see an excellent game.
All right, Jim, let's swing over then to Madison Central. And let me just start off or preface my remarks. Last year, a lot of people said Madison Central, whatever happened to that dynasty, you know, Bob DeMarco, let it go. It's falling apart. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Exactly. Yeah, and good teams and good programs are going to run into these situations where if they have a string of good seasons, maybe they don't have one all the time, and that was the case last year. But he reloaded, and he knew exactly what he was doing. And in Madison Central, you have a team that is, in my opinion, runs the wishbone as well as any team in the state. You're going to see it very fluid tonight. East Brunswick has had its problems contending against the wishbone offense, and that's going to be a key in tonight's game. The quarterback is no slouch. His name is Rick Arneo. He comes in. This is his first year starting as quarterback. But I've been watching this team as the season has progressed, and Arnejo is getting very, very comfortable at running this. He has backs that he can toss the ball to. A sophomore run at LAC number 5. You're going to see him be scooting Jim Iacona, who was the quarterback last year but is going to a running back. There are so many things that this team does. They have a big offensive line that blocks very, very well. And then defensively, I think a lot has been overlooked with the type of offense that Madison has, but this defense is as good as any team in the county. Phil was talking about Edison. Madison had Edison on the ropes and easily could have won that game the first time these two teams met. Final score was 20-16. For Madison Central tonight, with their 6-1 record, this is a very, very important game to them because it has a lot of playoff ramifications. They may be able to lose and still get in the playoffs, but I think they want a home field advantage in the first round. So they have a lot to play for tonight, and I think they're going to be up for this game.
Well, I think every game between Madison Central and East Brunswick is the kind of game that you want to be here, and we hope that you're going to stay with us. We welcome you back, and we'll be ready for the opening kickoff in just a moment. Well, we welcome you to tonight's East Brunswick Madison Central football game, and as you can see out at the center of the field, a host of East Brunswick players, along with their captains.
They're all
That is Varnell
captains tonight.
Johnson, yeah, and Jay Adocio in the center. East Brunswick will win the toss, and while we have a moment, let me take the opportunity to explain why we cover some games and why we don't, particularly away games. Quite honestly, away games pose some difficult problems for us technically in terms of getting the kind of electrical connections that we need. And just as importantly, we are not guaranteed any space at a visitor's field. And so consequently, rather than providing you coverage that may be less than what we have provided in the past, we opt not to provide that coverage, and or it's just not feasible for us technically to present the program to you. We regret that we can't do all the games for you. We're glad that you're back to watch tonight's game, and we're about ready to go.
And I tell you, you can start right off the bat, gentlemen, to see a cat and mouse game here. Madison has a young man that kicks off, Jeff Herbert, who certainly can put it into the end zone. But does he want to take that chance that the ball hangs up there and Varnell Johnson gets a hold of it? I said to Bob DeMarco that Varnell Johnson might be the best return man in the county. He corrected me and said not might. Varnell Johnson is the best return man in the county. So let's see if they squib kick it or try to put it in end zone.
I think one thing about these two teams, they know each other very well. DeMarco and Borden have a lot of respect for each other, and I'm not sure that they can do anything to trick each other, because I think they know each other so well. But
Really?
you never know.
All right, we're about ready to get this one underway. Herbert will kick it off for the Spartans.
And he is a good one.
East Brunswick comes in with a 3-4 record, looking to get to the 500 level, and Madison Central looking to extend their record to 7-1. Oh, a little between the legs to Varnell Johnson, and a good run back will put East Brunswick across their own 35-yard line.
And I'll tell you right away, Bob DeMarco showing great respect for Varnell Johnson and the Jesse James gang, because you saw he squib kicked it, and East Brunswick tried to pull a little something of their own, pitching it back to Johnson, who picked up good yardage.
It's called Plan B.
We mentioned that Mark Neary is back leading the offense.
Our first opportunity to really see him this year. He was injured in the Cherokee game, the opening game, after the first quarter, and has been gone, but came in at the West Windsor game.
And they're going to start with a shotgun right away. A little quick out to Johnson on the left flat. He's got some running room. He's got the first down as he gets close to midfield, and that's where they'll stop his forward progress, just shy of the mid-stripe. And quickly, a first down.
A first down, and I tell you, look at that. We talked earlier in the year about the many changes the Bears have had to make. Marcus Borden said he had to virtually scrap his offense due to various injuries. So they're doing anything that's going to move the ball.
And one thing they are doing, Phil, is getting quickly over the ball. And they have three receivers to the right as Neary rolls right. Looking, puts it up in the air. He's got his receiver. And that's number 2. And I got to get my program back out again.
Mike Matthews.
Matthews, you're right. Another first down into Spartan territory.
And I don't think Madison Central quite expected East Brunswick to be coming out throwing like they did, split wide. It's trips left.
Here we go, 1st and 10. The ball spot at the Madison Central 30. Neary again looking, being pressured. Looking for a man.
Ooh.
And he's got it.
Johnson caught it.
The catch made by Johnson.
Varnell Johnson. Nice throw by Neary, nice catch by Johnson, and nice blocking up front by that small offensive line.
That's important.
The ball spotted at the Madison Central 15-yard line. Another first down for the Bears, their 3rd consecutive first down in this drive.
And you can see it out on the field. You see them, they're pumped up, they're clapping. They're taking it to the Spartans right now.
That's right.
And a timeout, Madison Central.
That's a trademark of Bobby DeMarco. He does not like to waste timeouts, but if he sees something that's wrong, he will not hesitate to call it. So I think he's going to make some adjustments right here.
And I tell you, look out there at the Bear huddle, and you see Marcus Borden out there as the rain starts to come a little bit. And Marcus feels good about this team. I mean, when he talks, he's very pumped up. He's glad he stuck with his seniors. And we might talk about that a little bit later, Jimmy. We talked about Madison Central developing last year. They developed by playing a lot of young people, and some people might consider that giving up on the seniors. Marcus Borden stayed with his seniors, and thus far it's paid off.
That's correct. And not that he had a choice, Phil. Really, it was the seniors that were going to bring him through.
It's 1st and 10 for the Bears on the Madison Central 15-yard line. Third consecutive first down has brought them deep into Spartan territory.
I keep my eyes on Brian Tenora, number 10. He's wide right. He was also one of the players who came back just about the time that Neary did. And he is a prime receiver, especially in the touchdown routes.
That's Habib and Tenora to the right. Neary, and they're going to call it.
A pass.
Yeah, flag is the flag down? There
flag is down, but I think they're going to call him for intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding is the call.
And you're right, Jim. No hesitation there by the referee.
Right. The way he threw the flag, you would have thought it might have been a defensive foul, but that wasn't the case.
So that'll move the Bears back.
And the Bears come out and continue to pass. Not a running play as of yet.
So that timeout by DeMarco had paid some dividends right away. And what really hurts about this is that this is marked off from the part of the from the point of the foul. Plus they lose the down.
I'll tell you, I might have called on Christensen just to offset that pass, and they came out past the number of plays just to offset that defense who were coming at you. Just do a running play in there on first down, but it's water over the dam.
All right, the ball on the Madison Central 32. It'll be 2nd and 27. Neary from an I formation with Johnson the deep back. He'll go in motion to the right. Neary looks, throws it out in the flat to Johnson. He's got 2 blockers in front of him.
He's got room.
And Varnell will get back some of that yardage as he gets down to the Spartan 21-yard line.
And I can't believe they're so far off Johnson. I guess it works both ways. If you're too close on him, he's quick enough to bypass you. So they're playing cautious, giving him a slight cushion and not letting him break the big one.
So it's 3rd and 17.
So they need to get to the 6-yard line for a first down.
Ball spotted at the Spartan 22-yard line. Tenora and Cavelli wide left. Johnson goes in motion right. And inside, a little give to Christensen. Not much there for him.
Well, what do you do here?
Well, we're going to find out.
A mass substitution here.
Well, Farrick's coming in. He's the long field goal kicker, if I remember correctly. So we might have a field goal try here from the, let's see.
It'll be about
37-yarder from the 27.
So the ball spotted on the 20. Placement will take place at the 27 and add the 10, and that's the 37 Jimmy just spoke of. Good snap. The kick is up.
Well, it's long enough.
Wide left.
He had the distance, but it was off to the left. So East Brunswick does lose a golden opportunity, but you have to be impressed, Phil, by the way they moved the ball that first opportunity.
That's for sure. Controlling the ball nearly 3 minutes coming out, showing that they can move on this Spartan defense. And now they just got to let their defense go to work.
And we'll see the wishbone. No secrets here with Madison Central. And the commander will be
Rick Arneo. And he will toss the ball to a number of people.
That's Arneo, number 8, over center. And flags will stop the play. And I think we have movement along the offensive line.
I believe you're right, John.
And a little bit of a surprise here. Opening up in the tailback position is Dwight Lige, number 1.
And he's a burner.
He is a burner. He's often used as a wide receiver. So that's a little bit of a twist that Madison is throwing at the Bears.
And I'll tell you, gentlemen, tonight we're going to see a true wishbone. It was a little tight right there, but Woodbridge ran some wishbone. Piscataway ran the wishbone. One other team as well, but tonight you're going to see a true wishbone.
Perth Amboy.
Perth Amboy.
Yeah. All right, it's 1st and 15 from the 15 for the Spartans. Arneo to the left side.
Saw him slip there, John.
Yeah.
So the field might be a little bit slippery from this brief rain we had.
Johnson closes in on him. He'll pick up a couple. but it'll bring up a long third down.
And Madison does like to string out the long side of the field.
I'll tell you, they lost a few yards on there. They lost about 2 yards, and Marcus Borden 3 yards. Marcus Borden talked about they picked up 2 actually.
All right, 3rd and 17.
There's that fullback.
Look at
All
this.
by himself, and he's tripped up at the end.
That's Atlack, number 5.
That's number 5, the sophomore.
Right, he is just a sophomore. He's over 6 feet, 190 pounds, and this kid has speed to burn. I saw him against Edison. He took a pitch and just burned at 65 yards.
I'll tell you, deja vu almost, Jimmy. I know you flashed. Madison did that a few years back in early in the game and just took off right down the middle of the field.
Well, it gives them a first down and out of their own territory. Ball spotted on their own 34-yard line, 1st and 10. This is Lige, and he'll pick up 3.
East Brunswick can't concentrate on one particular area. They have to watch. They've had Madison has had good success up the middle early on, yet Arneo is good at pitching the ball.
2nd and 7. Ball at the 38 for Madison Central. Again, that inside handoff. Arno keeps it. He fumbles.
Ooh, big break.
And it's knocked out of bounds, actually, by Lige.
Well, let's see what they're going to do. I think they're going to call it.
Well, it's going to be, it was in bounds when he touched it, so I think it's going to be close to the 50-yard line, Jim.
And they're calling it recovered in bounds as well.
They're going to move him back now.
Okay. Still will be enough for a first down.
First down, really.
Arneo kept on the wishbone. Ball was stripped and actually went out of bounds. But they'll retain possession. It'll give them the first down. And the ball spotted at their own 47.
That's Lige again.
And this is a scene we're all too familiar with.
Well, defense is being sorely tested right now.
Right. And it didn't seem like Lige had a lot to run with, but got himself 4 yards. So that must mean that Madison's offensive line is providing a surge.
Well, they're so much larger
They are big.
than the Bears' defensive line. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
2nd and 6. Ball right at midfield. Arneo hands off inside. Still on his feet is Atlack. He's a tough young man, Jim.
He is. And nothing fancy here.
No. So it'll be 3rd and let's call it about 2 yards, a long 2 yards. Ball into East Brunswick territory. And one of the Madison Central's patented slow, methodical wishbone drives is underway.
Ooh.
I think he stopped.
Okay.
I think you're right, Jim.
Good hit
He's
up in
going to be
there.
short. They're going to mark it just over the 45.
And that was Atlack on the carry.
All right. That was a nice stop there.
But it'll bring up a 4th down for the Spartans. An interesting call here now for Bob DeMarco.
Well, there's nothing so interesting. If it's a different offense, it may be. They're going to continue to do the wishbone and
Or put it up.
Just read it. They could get fancy. They could. I'd be surprised.
Well, let's see.
I'd be very surprised.
4th and 2.
Well, in past situations like this, Madison has always gone wide, but we'll have to watch.
Arneo keeps, goes down the line, flips it to Atlack.
Well, they're not going to get the first down.
All right.
And that's a break for East Brunswick as the ball goes right by Atlack.
A big break for the Bears.
Right.
And Marcus Borden talked about that. He says we're going to have to play great defense. We're going to have to control their offense, but we're also going to have to make them put the ball on the ground. And putting the ball on the ground, he's talking about interceptions, fumble recoveries, and things of that sort.
Well, you got to start to possibly question that wisdom, Phil. It's been drizzling. That ball's going to be wet. The grass is certainly wet.
Sure.
We'll see what the Bears do. They have their 2nd possession here in the 1st quarter. 5:43 remaining. Tenor and Habib come wide left. Split backfield. Christensen in motion to the left. This is Johnson. And Johnson will pick up 2.
Right. He was caught by Zabini.
Stacked up. Give Habib a lot of credit. Broke a little premature and whatnot. Got back and set himself to avoid the penalty.
Slightly less than a yard gain.
Yeah. We'll say that Varnell picked up a yard and make it 2nd and 9. Ball at the Madison Central 47. Again, 2 receivers to the left. Neary rolls to his left, looks over the middle.
Ooh.
And throws past Tenora.
Just behind Tenora.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get rid of that ball. Tenora, it was behind Tenora, but he really wasn't able to set up and throw. I think he just tried to dump it early.
Okay, a big 3rd down, and they don't want to give up the ball right back to the Spartans at this juncture here. They need to complete something.
They need 9 to move the chains. Matthews and Habib are to the left. Tenora to the right with Johnson. From the shotgun, Neary being forced out of the pocket, puts it in the air, looking for Johnson, I believe, but wide.
Well, he threw that one out of bounds also. So the Spartans provided the pressure that caused Neary to throw that ball out.
No doubt about it, Jim.
Jim, we were talking about the defensive backfield for Madison Central, and they may be as good as it comes.
I personally think they're the best in the county. They've got some veterans back there, and most importantly, they have speed. 2 of them are on the receiving end of this punt. That's Iacona number 4 and Lige number 1.
All right, the Bears will punt. This is Lige, takes it on the run.
Ooh.
He's got some running room, cuts back into the middle, and may have done well to stay to the outside.
I'll tell you, young football players, it's hard to understand. Clearly had some running room to the outside and ran back to the pack. A lot of young players run instinctively and think they see a little daylight, but a lot of times it's right there to the outside. Keep it there.
Varela didn't really get off a good punt. If that was him punting, right?
Yes.
Okay.
From what we can tell.
Yeah, it was sort of a line drive, so Lige took it in the air and got a full steam. So the positive yardage is not as good as it could have been for East Brunswick.
Spartans will start from their own 39, 1st and 10. 4:20 left here in the first period. Inside goes Lige, I believe.
They're just pounding it right up that middle there.
Right, Johnson was the tackler on that, and you're going to see Varnell slowly but surely creep forward, and I think it's going to be up to Madison if they want to exploit that situation to finally get the pass off.
Well, they've been known to throw the halfback pass, Jimmy. Bob Needham will put it out there, and they'll try a few other things as well.
Oh, yeah.
Pickup of 3. It's 2nd and 7 from their own 42. Reneo pitches back to Atlack. Got some room on the outside. He's got the 1st down.
That was a better pitch by Arneo.
And I'll tell you that Atlack's a good-looking kid, a sophomore, just a sophomore, 6'1", 190, and he's a ball player.
Yes, he is.
Barrick on the tackle on that play.
So they give him the 1st down.
Chains are moved as Madison Central moves into East Brunswick territory. Clock stopped with 3:43 remaining here in the first period. Arneo brings him out. Keeps, he's gonna put it up in the air. Gets hit as he throws and no one out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, who was open was Herbert.
Down the middle.
And I tell you, pass just to keep them honest. We talked about when the Bears have the ball, maybe doing a run to keep the defense honest. Madison is going to run the ball 95, 98% of the time. So they'll throw that pass in there just to keep the defense honest.
Phil, good call. 1st and 10.
No, no harm. No real harm. You like to pick up what you can on 1st down, but they've been picking up good yardage. They'll go back to the wishbone.
That could be the only time you see the ball thrown tonight by the Spartans, too.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Arneo keeps, goes down the line, steps up the middle, picks up some good yardage.
About 8 yards.
I'll tell you, Arneo, a different back from quarterback than Doug Donnelly. Bob DeMarco likened him to Ed Walsh. Says he has the same kind of instincts.
I agree.
Not as strong as Walsh at this same stage, but the cutback instincts, and he has that there.
Well, he's been developing very, very well. At the beginning of the season, you can see he was quite tentative in the games that I watched Madison Central, but it seems like after that Edison game that they lost, he gained a lot of confidence.
3rd and 1 from the East Brunswick 40.
Good stop.
Okay, nailed.
A good tackle there. And that was Adocio on the bottom of the pile on Lige, number 1.
Christensen was also in on that tackle.
I'll tell you, and Adocio is back. Last week in Perth Amboy, gentlemen, 4 sacks and an interception. He was all over the place.
It's good to see it. Well, you got a similar situation here, Phil.
Yep. 4th and 1.
Same tactic. You're going to go for it.
And they'll, same formation. They'll do the wishbone, give it into the line.
Arneo just spins around, hands off to Atlack, who's got the first down.
Okay, not a counter, a preset call, play that time. That play was preset. They didn't go from the wishbone there. They just called the counter to try to pick up that first down.
And Phil, that's just a brute play, basically. I mean, where wishbone is more finesse, misdirection.
Right.
The counter is just straight ahead
They
block.
knew what they were going to do, right.
Well, they're going to measure here, but it does look like he's
From our
got
vantage
enough.
point, yeah. So that'll stop the clock with 2:23 left first quarter. No score in our game.
Phil, you were mentioning, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
John. You were mentioning the size of the offensive line for Madison Central. They got
just-
some big boys there.
They have some big boys. It's just unbelievable. They have Jack McKernan, the center, 260. Tom Metzger, tackle, 235. Jay Peterson, 240. Dan Marney, 230. And then you look back over at the Bears defense, you're talking about Jay, 166. Gerbervac, 199. Christensen, 177.
Yeah, they have their hands full.
Small guys comparatively
You know,
speaking.
but thus far, though, they've been doing a real incredible job in not allowing Madison to at least break big gainers.
First down for the Spartans.
Ooh, stacked up right there.
There's a nice one right there.
Lige got hit as he got the ball.
Exactly, and I think you're going to have to credit number 45 on that.
And number 74, whoever that.
Ozzie Carrion was one of the tacklers. Johnson was in there also.
A gain of 1. Let's call it 2nd and 9. The ball spotted at the East Brunswick 40 as we move under 2 minutes now here in the first quarter. We have no score from J. Doyle Field, East Brunswick Madison Central. Reneo keeps, steps up, and leans for a pickup of about 3.
Phil, you notice how he makes that quick step up forward?
He's just a fine-looking wishbone quarterback, and I said completely different from Doug Donnelly, who would just fake it and flat out outrun you. He has finesse.
Rain is starting to come down harder now as some of the fans start to scurry for umbrellas and for cover. And as you know, we are out in the open, and I feel obligated to say that we may have to stop broadcast temporarily if the rain should get any heavier. But at the moment, we'll continue through as the clock runs. Madison Central facing a 3rd and about 7. Arneo keeps, he's gonna be dropped.
Wow.
Beautiful coverage.
And a loss of about 3 yards.
Barrick was in there. Adocio once again.
Once again, Jay Adocio. And I talked about Jay Adocio with Marcus Borden. I said, seems like he's coming on. He says, well, believe it or not, they weren't only double teaming him, but triple teaming him. And when you triple team a guy that weighs 166 pounds, I mean, that's giving you an awful lot of respect.
Absolutely.
When you triple team anyone, it's giving you an awful lot of respect.
Well, you can see on the screen that the rain is coming down rather hard.
And on our screen as well.
That's the quarter.
And that'll end the first quarter.
Check, I'm sorry.
Oh, 24 seconds, you're right, Jim.
Apologize.
You got me going there. I'm trying to keep my papers dry.
Well, they did forecast the possibility of some light showers, intermittent.
Thought it would be earlier and done with.
Well,
Phil,
Marco can't be too pleased with what he's seen so far.
Well,
and
and
very sluggish.
Yeah, and that's the theme I wanted to pick up on.
Right.
I mean, And as Phil mentioned, we were as guilty as anyone after the 4 games saying, God, whatever happened to this team?
Yeah.
And some key players came back. But more importantly, the coaching staff hung in there and the kids hung in there and really have turned us around regardless of what the outcome of tonight's game is.
Regardless of what happens with this season, they have turned it around, and the point is they didn't give up. And that's something you'll never forget.
All right, the question begs in my mind, what if Neary had not been injured?
Yeah. Well, the Spartans will punt for the first time tonight. And a good kick. Johnson's back. He'll let it go.
Wow.
And that'll go out at about the 2-yard line.
Unbelievable. Bob DeMarco playing field position, figured that the conditions are bad. It's rainy and wet. It's going to make it very difficult to pass the ball. He wants to put their backs against the wall and make them try to run against his defense.
I don't know who the punter was, quite honestly. I didn't catch the number, but an excellent kick. And East Brunswick is deep in their own territory. The ball's going to be spotted, we'll say it looks to be around the 4-yard line.
The punter is Zabini, by the way.
I'm
Todd
sorry.
Zabini, 55. Oh, here we go.
All right, from the 4, Neary gives inside to Christensen.
Ooh.
And he's tackled from behind. He had an opening.
I'll tell you, he had some daylight, and Christensen was stepping. Picked up good yardage.
And that'll end the first quarter. And so at the end of 1, we have no score. East Brunswick, Madison Central.
Maybe not too surprising.
Well, I think if you're the Bears, you certainly got to be pleased and whatnot. You've had them. We know Madison likes them long, sustained drives, and they don't need but 14 points or so if their defense is sharp. The Bears have shown that they can move the ball, and they're playing rather well defensively. They're being scrappy.
So the teams will switch sides of the field. East Brunswick will now be moving left to right on your screen as you see them move down to their new position.
And maybe you get the feeling that whoever scores early or who scores first might be in a superior position here. This may not be a high-scoring game considering the slickness of the field now.
I think you can bet for sure it's not going to be a high-scoring game. 9 points, 6 points.
Whatever.
Could win this.
You know, last week in Madison's most recent victory over Piscataway, they manhandled the Chiefs, by the way. The score, I think, was 17-6, but it was a clear victory. Madison passed one time, and it was a trick play, an old-fashioned hook and ladder.
Right.
Yeah, pass went out from Arneo to number 5, Iacona, who lateral to Atlac, is who we've already seen can run them with the ball, and he just streaked right down the line. It was a very interesting score.
Well, the Bears will be facing a 2nd and 7. Ball spotted at their 8-yard line.
It's a key situation for East Brunswick. They really need a first down here.
Do you put it in the air, Phil?
That ball's wet and slippery. I just think he's going to have a difficult time.
Neary calling signals. Christensen in motion. Inside handoff to Johnson, and he's hit almost immediately.
Right, they were ready for it.
So 3rd down.
I'll tell you, if he can, it's going to be very tough. That ball's got to be slick. But if he can pass it at all, it has to be a short pass, maybe a quick look in. The field is slippery. The offensive guy usually has the advantage. So if they could get Barnell on a sort of a quick look in, which is unlikely since he's lined up in the backfield.
Here we go, Neary will give it to Johnson.
And it's closed down.
And no place to go on 3rd down. That was 3rd and 6.
Yeah, they had the right idea. They wanted to give some Johnson some wide open area to perhaps duke a few tackles and get that first down yardage, but Madison had about 3 people out there.
That'll bring up a 4th and about 2.5. It looks like East Brunswick will punt.
Right. That's Iacona and Lige back.
And Madison.
Barrick doing the punting.
Yes.
They may not want their players to try to field this. They're going to get decent field position.
Barrick gets a good snap, gets a good kickoff.
Great kick. Great kick.
And you're right, Jim. Madison Central will just let it go.
And
Ball will be down at the Spartan 41-yard line.
And he was kicking from his own end zone
That's
on
right.
that one.
That's right.
Close to a 60-yard kick. And Madison was guilty of playing up a little too much.
But I think they were preparing to let it go because they figured they'd get good field position. They didn't expect to kick like that, but they did right not to try to handle it. And you see the young man in the yellow jacket out there, Ryan Costantino. He's going to be a future star. Ryan, a Golden Bear, was at Marcus's Borden BMI camp and discovered there. Marcus made him the ball boy. A fine young athlete, a future star.
Spartans now on first down. A little counter move. Won't go for much.
I'll tell you, Jay Adosho once again sticking his nose in there.
And I think you also have to give credit to Carry-On. He made a nice hit.
That was Atlak on the carry. Not for much.
And I know it's only the second quarter, but this is as well as Madison's wishbone has been contained all season. Even Edison wasn't doing the job on him like this.
Yeah, second down, 9 yards, ball at the 42-yard line. That is the Spartans' 42. Arneo keeps, goes down the line, has some room, steps up, but is stopped.
I'll tell you, that defense is playing a great game.
Johnson on the
and
tackle.
Johnson is right there.
So Madison is faced with a long here of about 6 yards to get the first down. Any other team would be throwing the ball, but Spartans are usually content to try to go wide on this.
Play coming in from the sideline. 3rd and 5.
And I'd bet my life they do the wishbone with Arneo keeping the ball.
See if you're right, Phil. Arneo, he gave inside, and this is going to be close.
I
They're
think
short.
he just might be really just slightly short.
That was Coelho on the carry, number 32.
I'll tell you.
Marco Coelho. It's just by the nose of the football he's missing it.
They're going to say it's 4th down.
No measurement.
Well,
Yeah, they're gonna play it.
all right.
4th and inches,
And
didn't
right at
hesitate.
midfield.
Arneo keeps it on the quarterback sneak.
He's got it
Inside
there.
again.
Okay, I'm 2 for 2.
That was Coelho.
Yeah, we're gonna call on you more often, Phil. It
He
is
bet his
Coelho.
life. He lost his life the last time.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
that's why you're up here.
Really.
Clock stopped on the first down. 8:13 remaining, second quarter. No score from East Brunswick High School.
So Madison has been faced with 3 fourth-down situations, and they've. I'm sorry, you're right, 4, and they've
One
been
they punted.
right, exactly. They've attempted 3 fourth-down plays.
Ball in East Brunswick territory at the Bear 47. 1st and 10 for the Spartans. Arneo still has it,
Here's your keeper, Phil.
Ooh.
and he'll pick up at least 5, maybe 6.
And once again, Jay Adosho making the tackle.
You notice they've been going to the right side almost exclusively.
Right-handed team.
Barnell Johnson involved in on that tackle as well.
And I'll give Arneo, let's call it 5 and call it at 2nd and 5. Ball at the East Brunswick 42. Arneo's going to put it up. He's got some time looking downfield. He's got a man all by himself. That's Herbert
Jeff Herbert.
at about the 3-yard line.
And I tell you, they lull you to sleep just when you think you're playing that wishbone rather well. The young man Arneo goes back and lets one fly.
And Varnell has to be guilty on that play. He took the bite.
He bit.
Yep.
The ball will be spotted at the 5-yard line where his knee touched. But it'll be 1st and goal for Madison Central. And now you don't know who to watch. Arneo fakes to the fullback, keeps, dives close to the 2-yard line.
And as you see the young man run that play there, I'm impressed with the throw, considering the conditions, and he had it right on the money. The receiver couldn't keep his balance. Otherwise, it was a clear touchdown.
Yeah, it was a perfect throw,
Right.
Phil. Right on the money. Second, the ball looks to be spotted on about the 2. Clock down to 6:15. Arneo keeps again.
Well, I think.
And
no,
they're going to say he's in.
I think that was Coelho that he did hand off, John.
He did.
Yes, to Marco Coelho. It's hard to read these numbers down here. Plus,
It's
they're
hard
so
to see the
deceptive.
ball action, too.
Yeah.
Particularly when their back is toward
I
us.
thought it was Arneo that took it in myself.
Anyway, it's a score for the Spartans, and they go on the board first with 6:04 remaining in the quarter. And that play set it up. Extra point, Herbert. And makes it look easy. And so Madison Central takes a 7-0 lead.
I think what I'm going to do is hold that one in abeyance, and let's get some clarification on that. Find out exactly who it is. We got 2 here that thinks it's Arneo.
I thought it was Arneo.
Okay.
I'll tell you, but back.
I'll hold off on that one.
Back to the play that set it up again. You know, everybody talks about the many options of the wishbone. You know, you can give it to the dive back. The quarterback can keep it, or he can pitch. But then you have the option of the pass off it as well. And that's what makes it so surprising. A conservative team like Madison Central lulls you to sleep with that wishbone, and then it comes up with the big pass play.
Well, Phil, you know it's coming. It's just when is it coming?
When is it coming? You're right.
And you play the percentages, and that's what happened to East Brunswick, and they got caught. But they've played outstanding defense up to this point, and that big play really was the only blemish thus far. They trail only 7-0, and have looked pretty good on offense.
They certainly did.
Yeah, they did. I think that's probably the most encouraging sign is they've only had a few opportunities, but in that first drive, they were able to confuse Madison quite a bit.
Okay, we squib kick again?
Well, we'll see. Herbert ready to put a foot to it, and he kind of gives a little wedge shot. That's fielded by Varick.
Nice yards.
And
That's
still on his feet. Varick crosses the 35.
That's
And I think they'll spot it around the 38-yard line. East Brunswick will have decent field position. And they do have that explosiveness that they can get back in this game real quick.
You know, the temptation is to immediately go to the air here, but I don't know. East Brunswick probably doesn't want to get out of its game plan.
I think they're going to go to the air because the running game really hasn't produced that much. Madison Central has been able to contain it.
Neary, he'll roll to his right, looking for some help.
Wow.
He's got a man open. It's Habib.
Nice route.
And first down into Spartan territory.
That was a good route run by
Emil Habib.
I'll tell you, and I like this young man, Emil Habib. They brought him in. He was quarterback for that Edison game. Gave Edison fits last week. Neary got popped on one play against Perth Amboy. Habib came in one play, threw one pass to Tenura for a touchdown, and he's just very versatile. You like having a player like that young fellow. Ran a nice pass pattern.
That play was worth 20 yards.
Tenura and Habib to the left, I formation. First down for East Brunswick. This is Johnson.
And his helmet flew off.
Yeah, he lost everything there beyond yardage. No gain. In fact, he may have lost a half a yard. And we talk about Varnell Johnson. Varnell came into this game with close to 1,200 all-purpose yards, 516 of which have been accumulated on the ground.
Yeah, he had those 100-yard-plus games in the early going. It was Habib that lost his helmet on that play.
Well, we'll call it 2nd and 10. 40-yard line of Madison Central. East Brunswick trailing 7-0. Neary looks. Now he'll roll, being pressured, and he'll be taken down for a loss.
Herbert. And I'll tell you, that's just Herbert doing a fine job there containing Neary. But that's just the ball you want to get rid of. You really don't want to take that loss there. You just want to throw that ball away.
Yeah, that's a real difficult. Not only do you lose the down, but you lose the yardage, and it's way back.
And Phil, wouldn't you say that's one of the hardest things for a young quarterback to understand?
Definitely so, and we tend to see it so much with the pros and whatnot, but it's not an easy thing to do once you're out there.
So East Brunswick now with a 3rd and 23.
You have almost
And
four
yeah,
to the
four
right side.
receivers basically to the left side, and Neary will look that side. It's a little pass to the flat to Johnson. He's got to be blocking for him.
Ooh.
Still on his
Barnell
feet.
still on his feet. As
Wow.
What an effort.
Really was tremendous effort.
And he picked up about 20 yards, 3 short of what he needed.
And I tell you, we haven't talked much about Varnell tonight, but he's just an amazing ball player. Last week against Perth Amboy, you couldn't believe such quickness on defense. He dove in, made an interception. The very next play, ran a 16 yards for the touchdown. I've seen some backs this year. I've seen Bonilla and South River, Thornburg for Dunellen. No back does as much for their team as Varnell Johnson does.
All right, East Brunswick will be forced to punt on a 4th and about 13.
And nobody's deep for Madison.
And they kind of snuffed it out. Habib throws it out into the flat.
Ooh.
That's Varick.
He's going to get it.
He's got the first down.
Great move by Varick.
Right, that last move by his lunging forward was enough. And Madison wasn't ready for any fake. They just didn't do the job.
They just didn't do the job. They were expecting the Bears to try something. They had the players out there. They just weren't able to stop them. Jim Varick with a real nice move at the end to pick up that all-important first down.
How big a play was that in this drive?
I'll tell you.
Boy, considering the fact that it was 3rd and about, 13.
So East Brunswick gets the first. And more importantly, they're at the 28-yard line of Madison Central. 2:50 remaining, second quarter.
A little bit of momentum here.
Christensen finding tough going in the middle.
But you got to keep them honest.
And that's the reason for that call. You know, the question begs, why not keep on throwing? Clock could become a factor here.
Play coming in from the sideline. Cavelli will bring it into Neary. We're near halftime. East Brunswick trailing 7-0. Johnson's on the sideline.
Doesn't appear to be injured. I think he just needed a quick rest.
Neary keeps on a little bootleg. Looks, puts it out into the flat.
Ooh,
almost intercepted.
Almost intercepted, I tell you.
That was Bobby Nigham, number 2.
I'll tell you, just a bad pass by Neary that time.
Yeah.
Nigham clearly could have picked it off.
That was thrown into a crowd.
And he would have been gone if he
would have
did.
been gone. He lost his balance. He's reaching back for it.
3rd down now for the Bears.
These players are all interchangeable parts for Madison Central. Bobby Nigham there, you're talking to number 4, Iacona. Number 1, Lige, all at one time or another have been the quarterback for this team. So they're all good athletes.
Okay.
All right, from the shotgun, 4 receivers to the left. Neary again will roll to that direction. Needs a block. He gets it off.
Ooh.
And that time he saves the loss, Bill.
I'll tell you, did well to get it off. That's number 84 bearing down on him.
That's Keebler, Mike Keebler. He's
So,
one of those defensive ends.
4th and 10 from the 28. You take a shot or you try the field goal.
It's a little too long for a field goal. I think they're going to go for it.
I think they got to try for that first down. I do.
That's an interesting concept, those 4 receivers split wide.
We've seen the trips. We haven't seen 4, but as I said, Marcus Borden had to scrap his offense just due to so many changes in personnel.
Well, the other complement to that is if you can get someone on the right side, they got man coverage. Here we go. They got 3 to the left, 2 to the right in terms of receivers.
Ooh.
And Neary won't have a chance to get it
Blind
off.
side.
Yeah, that was 84. Keebler again. So 2 sacks, almost 2 sacks.
Right, that's one of the problems when you have so many people split out. You have nobody in there to block, and Keebler came in untouched.
Right, and you notice the speed of that Madison Central defense. They get in real quick.
So Neary and the Bears give up the ball with 1:54 left in the quarter. Halftime soon approaching. The clock starts. Madison Central will have it on the Bears 37. 1st and 10, and they're really in no rush at this point.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. They're not that far away. They're on their own 36.
Inside handoff goes nowhere.
Well, what we thought was a glaring weakness of East Brunswick early on in the season, and they are really doing a nice job of bottling up that middle.
They definitely are. They definitely are. The players just have come on, actually on both sides of the line, Jim.
And East Brunswick's taken advantage of this opportunity and calling timeout. I don't think they've used any yet.
Well, you almost have to because you know the ball's not going to be put up in the air and that clock's going to run. So if you can hold them, you might have a chance to get the ball back with some time.
Should we use this opportunity, John, to congratulate East Brunswick's girls soccer team for winning their 9th consecutive Central Jersey Group 4 championship? Or is it 6th? I forgot which, but
It was 6th.
6th one, okay.
Just unbelievable. I saw Luke Hoza earlier, and I said, you did it again. He just smiled.
And I've just been informed that the boys soccer team won today, so congratulations
that is
also should go out
tremendous.
to Dan Hastings and his team.
Wow.
Great. That's a,
That's a first, I believe.
The Central Jersey Group 4, no, they won it, I believe,
Same
2
year?
years ago. 2 years, oh, in the same year.
In the same year.
Girls and boys.
Well, 2 years ago, they both did it, if you remember. East Brunswick,
Okay.
and remember we had the opportunity to do those 2 televised games down there at Trenton State College. But the boys, give them credit. They had some rough times playing second fiddle to St. Joe's all this year. And for them to come back and win, and I believe the opponent was Middletown South? Yeah,
I think so.
Okay, so we'll try to get the score if we can, but that's a great win and also a great win for the girls team, beating Piscataway 1-0.
Again, their nemesis.
Okay, football time.
Here we go, 1:20 left, 2nd and 10. A little counter move inside, Lige taken down quickly.
And Varnell Johnson just blowing through there and nailing them.
Well, East Brunswick's going to use its allotment of 3 timeouts to see if they can get the ball back.
Feel a
here.
little
Good
sucker
position.
play there. You pull a guard in, you run the back through there.
That's right.
Actually, it didn't fool Johnson.
Not at all. And
Plugged the hole.
And I'll tell you, Johnson, by my calculations, has about 9 tackles. I could be off, but
He's been doing it all year, Phil.
I'll tell you, he's fast, closing fast on the defensive tackle record.
Record for tackles for the entire
for
season?
the season, right.
Wow.
And that's held by Bob Rusnak. You remember him, Jim? All-Stater, 1985
Went
with
to Maryland?
115.
University of Maryland, right.
Mark Harmon has 107 in 1988. And Pete Gudzak, and I think Johnson just tied Gudzak, who had 106 tackles in 1986. So Varnell Johnson not only doing it offensively, but may break the season tackling record for the East Brunswick Bears. May said it.
Phil, you mentioned 2 names that I happened to catch on TV about a week or so
Yeah, I
ago.
saw
and
him
that
too.
is
It was great.
Ed Walsh handing off to Mark Harmon.
Which was quite unusual.
Yes. Here we go, 3rd and 8.
Ooh.
And big hole.
Atlack, there he goes.
And Zatlack. And Habib takes him down finally, but not after he gets into East Brunswick territory, stops the clock, and picks up the 1st down.
And Atlack wasn't like he was sprinting. He was stumbling all over the place. But most of the East Brunswick defenders has crashed, so they had to play catch-up. Good thing he was stumbling. Otherwise, he would have been gone.
Yeah, he does have the speed to break it. Well, that gives now Madison a new outlook on things. I believe they have 2 timeouts left.
I think so. The ball is at the East Brunswick, let's call it the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, 1:04 remaining before halftime. Arneo is going to put it in the air. He looks down the sideline, and just off the hands of Atlack.
And an official goes down.
And so does a flag at the line of scrimmage.
It's one of the few flags we've had tonight.
I assume that's a flag.
And
It is.
it appears, and in a passing situation, probably holding, gentlemen. Let's see.
Normally isn't that type of situation.
Well, especially for a team that doesn't pass that often. You called it.
Well, that'll bring it back, what is it, 10 yards?
I believe so. And that play actually had a dual benefit for East Brunswick. It not only moved them back, but took time off the clock. And so now it forces Madison Central to consider whether they go for the end zone or stay on the ground and run it out.
And it's strange in Madison, we've seen it year after year. In clearly passing situations, they'll try to bust one on the ground now by sticking with their offense. Of course, time is a factor, and the clock is against them right now. Let's see what they do.
It's going to be hard for the Bears to get their hands on the ball here. It's 1st down still.
Arneo to Lige. He's got a hole on the right side.
Oh,
He's got some running room.
Whoa, what a cut.
And gets out of bounds, stops the clock with 51 seconds.
And I tell you, so Madison Central-y. Most teams would have been putting that ball up in the air And
well, you call that, Phil.
Well, I'm saying it's traditional Madison Central. Just when you think they got to put the ball up long, they'll try to pop one through because figuring that you're going to be rushing in.
And I guess Lige managed to get out of bounds there. It's not a first down, John.
No, after the penalty, but it is a 2nd and 7. And the ball goes back to that original line of scrimmage at the 32 where this all started. They've spotted on the 28, I'm sorry. 2nd and 7 for the Spartans. Arneo looks to throw.
Oh, and
he's going to be dropped.
Docio was in there.
And a timeout will be called by East Brunswick.
Okay, Docio and Dave Christensen in on the tackle there. Big tackle.
It's Madison Central, sorry, who called timeout.
Boy, we've been calling Jay's name all night.
43 seconds remaining. Go ahead, Jim.
Right. Well, one thing I wanted to mention, that number 11 that we saw kicking off is also a very accomplished field goal kicker. And I think Madison, if they can get this first down here or even get close to the first down marker, will probably go for a field goal.
I hear you, Jim. The young man kicked a 30-yarder against Piscataway, and I know of a 26-yarder he kicked against Perth Amboy. So
yeah, that 30-yarder, Phil, would have been a 50-yarder.
Is that right?
Yeah, he really has a foot. So you can factor that into Madison's play call right here.
And or you factor the fact that the ball may be slippery and you don't take that chance.
Okay, we take a look at the Bear defensive huddle there, and they just don't want to give up the big play. There's just 43 seconds left in the game. They just don't want to give up the big play, whether it's through Madison popping one through or Aneo putting one up in the air.
The Bears trailing the Spartans 7-0 in a well-played first half thus far.
Very closely played.
All right, 3rd and 10 for Madison Central. Arneo.
He lost the
ball's
ball.
on the ground. And Madison Central has recovered.
A little bit of confusion there. I think Arneo thought that whoever was going to
And the clock
get that
is running.
ball.
And the clock is running.
Well, let's see. Herbert's out there.
4th down, 25 seconds.
This is a long one.
And apparently they have no timeouts,
right.
gentlemen.
This is going to be a 48-yarder. That might be beyond Herbert's range.
We'll see. Good snap. The kick is up.
It's short.
Wow.
And it will be short, but not by much.
Short.
It was on, but short.
He had the direction, a little more on the distance, but 8 seconds.
Well, you can see he kicked the ball.
Oh, good foot. Phil, I think if you're Marcus Borden, you go to a knee and regroup at halftime. You're in this game.
Right, that's for sure.
Don't risk a fumble where a field goal could, be repeated.
I still got a lot of sandlot in me, which means you got 8
Go
seconds.
for it, huh?
Yeah, 8 seconds on it.
Maybe that hook and ladder play.
There's a rule in high school that I don't like. Ball is brought back to the 20-yard line. I think they should revert to the college and the professionals on that.
Go back to the original line of scrimmage, yeah. Neary puts him in an I formation, and that'll be Johnson.
Ooh.
And Johnson will pick up 9, but that should end it,
okay.
and it will. So it's halftime here at J. Doyle Field. The Bears trailing 7-0.
And I'm just looking at Johnson there. He took a shot and is limping slightly. Of course, he's been taking a lot of shots this year, and he's bounced back. So no reason to think he wouldn't be back for this second half. Yeah.
So a well-played first half here, East Brunswick, Madison Central. A game that can go either way, and there's plenty of football left.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back with that second half action in just a moment. Well, we welcome you back to the start of the third quarter. East Brunswick trailing 7-0, and they will kick off to Madison Central. The rain has stopped, thank God.
Hey, let it
And
go.
a little mix-up, that ball will roll into the end zone, and someone better put their hands on it for Madison Central. They do,
Well,
and that's Nigham.
Yeah, what happens in high school football, John, just as a reminder, as soon as the ball crosses the plane of the goal line, it's automatically dead.
Right.
They don't have to cover it. But if it dies on the 1 yard line,
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, someone better get down there to be sure.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. I'm sure nothing different than what we saw in the first half, Phil.
You're right, and actually the Bears have played a fine game. They just got to come out defensively, control Madison Central, and hope to get something offensively.
Arneo is still the quarterback. And this is Lige.
That's what they started out with.
That quick opener.
He's fast.
Extremely fast, and again, Varnell Johnson in on the tackle.
Lige picks up 8. Let's call it 2nd and 2. Ball spotted at the Spartan 28-yard line. Arneo keeps, goes down the line, and as usual, turns up. He's got the first down.
And that was a saving tackle there. That could have been some big yards.
That's for sure. I'll tell you, he's a smooth operator at the throttle there.
Lucarello.
Phil, he's had a pretty easy time turning that corner, which is telling me that defensive end is being pinched in or moving to the outside on that pitch man.
It's assignment blocking. Somebody's clearly not keeping their assignment. Somebody is to be with him when he goes out there regardless.
Well, it also can be the fact that the defensive end commits himself and penetrates, because that's what the quarterback reads on the wishbone.
Ball at the 36 of Madison Central. They have it 1st and 10. They lead 7-0. And falling forward is, I think it's Kaleo.
Well, Jim, to amplify what you're talking about, actually what that quarterback reads, his first read is on the tackle there.
Right.
If that tackle moves, he gives the ball to the fullback. If the tackle doesn't, if he reads and he doesn't, he keeps the ball. He goes down the line. If he has running room and keeps it, if it looks like they're going to close down on him, he pitches.
2nd and 5, ball at the 42.
And Iacona is in a quarterback. I don't know if we noticed that.
He just came in, Jim.
Yeah.
Why might that?
So.
Do you see?
Well, Arneo's
on the side?
Yeah, I'm looking to find out what's going on here.
One thing you always have to worry about with the wishbone, the handoffs are so close and in tight that a finger sprain is not uncommon, I would think. And Iacona is still there. There's that flexibility that we talked about earlier about interchangeable parts.
For sure.
Certainly helps when you have another guy to run an offense such as this. 3rd and 2. And movement by Spartans.
Really?
And East Brunswick needed a break there.
Yeah, really.
They got it.
So that'll back them up.
And it may have something to do with the different count. You have a different quarterback in there. It could have, but probably not. The guy probably just jumped offside.
Well, I can't see Arneo on the sidelines. He certainly isn't standing up.
Well, Nigham's in there too, Jim. I'm wondering if they're giving a little break to starters. I don't know why.
All right, here we come. Here he comes. Doesn't seem to be having any problem. It could have been an equipment problem.
Well, it's 3rd and 7 now from their own 40. Iacona at quarterback, at least temporarily. He keeps it.
It's a nice cut.
And Habib comes up to make the tackle.
He's very close to the first down.
He's short, however.
Yeah, I would think he's short from here. And they're going to bring the chains across. Start of the 3rd period. Madison Central on top, 7-0. East Brunswick's defense has played very well in shutting down that wishbone.
And Arneo is coming in, which would indicate that they're going to go for this. Boy, this is a little bit of a chancy call, Phil. Fourth down.
Not really. I just, not really.
Because they stopped him one time.
Well, they didn't bring the change out. They said it's fourth down, and here we go. Arneo is back. That is he, number 8. Hands off to Coelho, and that's the first down, the big fullback.
Boy,
Jim, bring it to midfield.
He didn't hesitate on that.
No, they've stopped him cold once, but not too often today that they stop him for no yardage. So
7-0 game, going for fourth down on your. Oh, okay.
they're confident that, and they should be confident that they can pick up a yard. If you can't.
Well, the ball is sitting squarely at midfield. 1st and 10 for the Spartans.
And once again, that ball control, eat up the clock, and just a slow drive.
Arneo still has it, and Johnson dives over the top to make the tackle.
He took a hit that time.
I'll tell you, the Bear defense right there. And, of course, being led by Johnson.
Right, credit Varela being in on that tackle also.
So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10. Ball just crossed midfield. Let's call it 2nd and 9.
This is consuming a lot of time.
7:33 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Ooh.
And a little give, almost late to Lige. He's
Great
tripped
tackle.
up.
Great tackle by Johnson. That could have been for some big yardage.
3rd and 9. No gain on the play.
Bears looking to get their hands on the ball. They haven't thus far in this quarter.
Yeah. So far, 5 minutes being consumed by Madison Central. They took the opening kickoff of this 3rd period. And they're facing a 3rd and 9, ball just inside East Brunswick territory. Arneo has it. Pitch is late to Adlack. Adlack got the first down if he stayed in bounds.
Yeah, he's got it.
And right there was the beauty of the wishbone. The dive in there, many people feeling the fullback has it. Pressure came down on him, and he pitched at the appropriate time to pick up the first down. Run perfectly.
Phil, you got to be expecting that ball every play then.
That's right.
You know, aside from that one fumble, well, actually, they fumbled twice, I believe, thus far. But that's not usual with Madison Central. That's one of the things that distinguishes this team from the rest that run the wishbone. They do it very, very fluid.
Ball at the East Brunswick 38, 1st and 10.
Ooh.
Arneo keeps.
There's that quick cut up.
And I tell you, see him with that cut back, right, Jim? It's just instinctive. You either have it or you don't.
Well, that's where Arneo, watching Madison Central this year, that's where I've seen the most improvement from this fellow. He was a little bit tentative, didn't really want to run the ball as much, but now he seems pointed on, you know, taking the ball and cutting upfield, and he doesn't hesitate on making that decision.
And once again, the Bears not letting them get the big play. They're grinding it out, but
this is taking its toll.
2nd and 6. Ball at the East Brunswick 33. Arneo gives it to the big fullback, Coelho.
Ooh.
He's still on his feet. Wow. He's going to go unless someone can make the last shoestring tackle, and it won't happen.
And that's a 33-yard run by Coelho.
And I tell you, just a fine run by the young man. But again, it just keeps you off balance. And a perfect read by the quarterback. He gave it up that time and
broke that one tackle.
And he had light. And that's
the
thing. When you're crashing down on it with that assignment ball, if somebody gets through, they're going to go.
Herbert on for the extra point to make it 14-0. And he makes it look easy. So East Brunswick will get the ball with 5:40 remaining, or left really, in this 3rd quarter.
And they're going to need to do something here. That's quite a deflating drive here to take the 3rd quarter drive and just bring it all the way down.
Which means your defense has been on the field much too long. Defense has done an admirable job.
Right.
But they can't stay out there that long. It's not like the Spartans are making big plays. They're just taking 4, 5 yards at a clip and driving it down the field, and it's got to take its toll on
Sure.
you.
I think from East Brunswick's perspective, Phil, what compounds that problem is that Varnell Johnson is a starter on defense. So now you're asking this guy to come back and play offense after having absorbed.
Right, there's several guys that are starters on defense.
Habib is one.
Really?
Christensen's on there, I believe.
Sure.
It's tough.
Well, more than half of this quarter has evaporated on that drive by Madison Central. And they're up by 2 scores, 14-0. An important drive, I think, for East Brunswick. And whistles will put a halt to the play.
Usually an offside.
And that's what it is, Phil. They'll bring it back.
And
And while we have a moment, maybe we can drop down and look at the East Brunswick High School varsity cheerleaders. As usual, providing the support in any type of weather. And as usual, we catch them at a break.
When they're not doing anything. They'll appreciate that.
We'll have to swing back a little bit later.
But the fact of the matter is they do a great job. John, both you and I
Yes.
had daughters cheerleaders, and you know how much time they put in there. So we want to give them some credit.
And they're athletes, just like any other athletic team.
So
right.
they set this one up at the 35.
And Herbert will put a toe in, a little chip shot again. This will be Christensen at his own 35. Puts his head down.
He's still up there.
And he bounces outside.
Wow.
And a nice second effort, third effort.
I'll tell you. And
He didn't want to go down.
And that play signifies really what this team has been all about.
Yeah.
They are not going to give up at any time. They may be down, but they certainly won't give up. And Dave Christensen just proving that point right there.
Right.
Kind of looked like a rugby scrum there for a moment. But good effort by Dave Christensen. Puts the ball at the East Brunswick 47-yard line. And let's see what they can do with it. 5:20 left, third period. Neary rolls to his right, being pressured. Dumps it, looking for Christensen. Just couldn't get anything on it.
Yeah, he was running for his life
Too
on
much
that.
pressure.
Yeah, that was number 70, Rich Leach. Another one of those huge defensive linemen.
You know,
that, very quick.
And all the pressure seems to be coming from the backside.
Backside, really. No blocking. I'll tell you, what I like to see is them throw to Varnell like they do in the flat and let Varnell pass off that, because anytime he gets his hand on the ball, everyone's closing down on him.
That's true.
If they come on him, somebody breaks open deep, I'm sure he can throw the ball.
2nd and 10. Neary drops, rolls to his right, puts it up.
Too much pressure.
That was McKiernan, I believe.
Again, incomplete.
And he's only 260.
Only 260, 6'2", 260. They're center on offense, and they're all everything on defense.
And now protection for Neary seems to be a problem. They were doing very, very well in the opening drive.
Well, when you don't have that protection, you either have to come with a real quick hit where, just a two-step quick hit, or you got to put some men back there to give you some blocking.
3rd and 10. Neary from under center. Hands off to Johnson.
He's got room.
Johnson should be close to the first down. Let's see where they mark it.
He's got it, John. He's over. That was a good 12-yard run.
And once again, a fine run by Varnell Johnson. And they look like they may want to measure.
No, they're going to give it to him, Phil.
Okay.
These guys, they got good eyes. Better than us, obviously. So East Brunswick, a much-needed first down to keep this drive alive with 4:56 remaining third quarter. Bears trailing 14-0. Ball at the Madison Central 41-yard line. Neary.
Here they come.
Will roll. Gets a good block this time. Over the middle, he has his man.
I can't believe he called the clip.
That's Christensen.
They can't call a clip on that.
I can't believe he called the clip.
It's a legal block.
Flag down back at the point of.
Blocking. We're thinking of the old days, Jim.
Yeah.
You can't block that low. It's just old-time football, and it's the most natural thing in the world.
They put him right on his backside, and you know, that's what football's supposed to be, though, right?
Not in high school. They they won't allow it. Anywhere but high school.
Well,
It was an excellent block otherwise, but as the rule states, you cannot block like that below the knees.
Leach had a full head of steam and was coming in, and I don't know who laid him out on that block there. Could have been Christensen.
Could have been.
Well, you're right. It is blocking below the waist. It'll move East Brunswick back after a well-executed pass play.
Oh, that's a big one, too.
It
They
is a
marked
big
that
one.
off from the point of the
infraction,
foul.
Right. So it's back into East Brunswick territory. The ball spotted at the Bears 36.
See, they have to get to the 32 of Madison Central, and it is first down, John.
It's first in about a couple miles there. Johnson goes in motion right. This is Christensen.
And he stops.
He's taken down after maybe 2 yards.
And, of course, you may be wondering why they marked that off at the point of the foul. The standard referee rule is from where it hurts the most, gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's where they get you.
This has been a relatively penalty-free game. I mean, I think that was the third or fourth flag we've seen. But it doesn't help East Brunswick as it brings up second, and the actual yardage is 32.
Well, if they have anything in their arsenal of tricks, this might be the time to pull it out.
Two receivers to the left. Johnson.
Ooh.
Good
Nice spin move as he gets up to the 45, just short. And Phil, it looked as though he was going to
pass,
grab that ball and throw it.
No, I didn't think, not on that. I think he just turned up too quick. As I said before, if they're going to have him pass, I think they're going to throw that ball out to the flat for him, let them close down, and let somebody slide.
Well, who knows? This could be a setup for a similar play in which he does take that option.
Anyway, it's 3rd and 26. They're chipping away at it. Ball at the East Brunswick 44. A lot of yardage here. Ranieri, a little screen over to Johnson, and just not enough on it. He had 2 blockers out there.
He had 3 blockers out there, and he could have kept his feet. Who knows?
Mark was trying to get that ball off with about 3 players in his face, and just couldn't get enough on it. He was backpedaling as he was throwing.
And so we'll have the second punt of the evening for the Bears, I believe.
Madison Central will get it with about 3:05 remaining in the quarter. Good snap. And a fine kick. Lige will take it at his own 20.
He's got some blockers.
Looking for a little seam.
Wow, wow.
And a great tackle from behind.
Yeah, Varnell was there to stop him, or else he was gone.
I'll tell you. And Varnell clearly, he certainly, I mentioned before, he's closing in on the all-time record for tackles in a season. He surely has passed Pete Guzek this afternoon.
Phil, he is being looked at seriously as a defensive back as a possible college player.
I'll tell you, surprisingly, some schools, such as Rutgers, are looking at him as a wide receiver.
Okay.
I understand Nebraska's interested, Syracuse and Boston College as well. So a lot of people looking at Varnell Johnson. A lot of people know about his abilities.
He has that one asset that everybody likes, that speed.
Timeout, Madison Central.
Not the biggest player in the world, but, you know, he does have, he's close to 6 foot, and he can always put on the pounds with a good weightlifting program. But, boy, I'll tell you what, as far as speed is concerned, I don't think there's a quicker back in the state.
I agree with you. I'll tell you, Jim, you look out there, I'm looking at, I believe that's Bob. Is that Bob?
Yeah,
Bob
that's DeMarco
in the crowd there.
Yeah.
And last year, just a terrible season for him. 1-8. They beat Cedar Ridge at the end of the year, but he has a tremendous record. Comes into this game, I had the numbers here somewhere, but anyway.
They're smudged out by the rain, are they
4
not?
conference titles, 3 playoff appearances,
There you go.
and of course 2 sectional state championships. He's done a real great job since being there at Madison Central.
And Phil, just a postscript to that, one of the real gentlemen of the game.
That's for sure.
He sure is.
I'll tell you, he had some strong statements about state playoffs, though, Jim. He said, listen, you know, he just thinks the state playoffs have gone too far. They've taken away the Thanksgiving Day game, which he thinks is all important. He says that kids have gotten to believe that if you don't make the playoffs, you don't have an enjoyable season. He thinks that's poppycock, and he thinks this PowerPoint stuff has gotten out of hand. Now kids are looking in the papers at PowerPoints earlier and earlier in the year.
Yes.
The Spartans will take it over. 2:40 remaining, third quarter. Ball on their own 42. They lead 14-0. Inside Coelho.
Okay, and Christensen on tackle there.
As far as PowerPoints, we have learned that there was a chance that may be out the window. The New Jersey High School Athletic Association, NJSIAA, is meeting probably in about another week or so, and will seriously examine grouping teams in sections as they exist now. North Jersey 1, 2, Central, and South by the size of school. We'll pick up on that in a moment.
Okay.
2nd and 9. Only a yard gain on the last play. Arneo still has it.
Boy, look at him dodge those tackles.
And he may have the first down.
Did he drop the ball?
Hard to tell from here, but
it's going to be close.
He fell on it if he did.
Yeah. They're going to come and measure that. So to pick up where we left off, so what you might have is all the Group 4 teams put together in Central Jersey, and that includes the teams that we've seen in playoff competition, such as Trenton, perhaps some of the short Group 4 teams, Hunterdon Central from the west, and they would, depending on the size of the school, a schedule would be made up of 8 opponents plus one of an option that the team could to renew a continued rivalry, such as a Thanksgiving. And that would go right down the line, and they would pick as many groups as they would have. And there you would have your conference championships right there. You wouldn't have to rely on PowerPoints anymore.
I don't know if that's better, but I tell you, I don't like the PowerPoint system. Maybe there's not a better thing right now. Anyway.
It's a first down for the Spartans, and they're chipping away again. They're in East Brunswick territory. Ball spotted at the Bear 48. Arneo quickly to Lige. And boy, he just took the helmet right off of, trying to see who it is. That's a shell on Varnell Johnson's helmet.
I'm wondering why his helmet that keeps popping off. That's the second time tonight.
What's that all about?
Unless the snap that snaps it is sort of weak. But
well, I think, Phil, he may have a protective shell over his normal helmet.
Yes, it is.
To protect against concussion or...
Sure, if we focus in on Varnell Johnson, you'll be able to see that.
Pickup of 5. It's 2nd and 5 for the Spartans. And Arneo,
what a nice cut.
He had us all faked out as he picks up the first down and moves within the 35-yard line of East Brunswick.
Johnson in on the tackle again. He's getting up slowly.
But you're saying something about a protective shell?
Yes.
I believe that's what it is.
You can see it. It's.
I don't know if you can see number 19 in the huddle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a second hood, if you will, on top of his helmet.
I see.
There it is.
Something we can use up here when the fans start throwing stuff at us. 1st and 10 for Madison Central. Ball on East Brunswick 33. They lead by 14. And Coelho is becoming a prominent factor here this second half.
Right, and you're starting to see this wishbone offense the way Madison can run it when they're in all gears.
That's right.
A lot of deception. East Brunswick's defense is a little bit confused right now as the third quarter winds down, John.
And they're tired.
Yeah.
They've been out there a long time with 5 seconds remaining.
Yes, that's probably another factor. That's it's relentless. They keep on coming at you, and almost mentally as much as physically, you start to wear down.
And that'll do it for 3 quarters here. J. Doyle Field. The Bears trailing Madison Central 14-0.
Touchdowns coming. One in the second quarter by Arneo, I guess was the 2-yard keeper.
Right.
That was at 6:04, 7-0 lead, and then Marco Coelho at 5:40 left in the third quarter, a 33-yard run right up the middle. And Herbert was good on both points after, so it's 14-0.
And we've talked about it often over the years, how just by looking at a score, it's deceiving. But, 2 scores far apart, East Brunswick's defense has been there.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Yeah, they've been in this. And I think we both made, all 3 of us made the observation that we saw this team early on, and just by watching them in the first quarter tonight, you can see they're just a different team.
And you got to understand, you got to talk about Madison Central's defense. They've shut out 3 teams, and they only give up 5.8 points per game.
They
They don't
really
give
are
up a
tough.
touchdown per game, so
They're tough.
they're right on schedule. So they're tough. So it's going to be tough for the Bears to score. But I know the Bears are thinking like they've been thinking, that they can score, and not just score. They got to still believe that they have an opportunity to win. They just got to make something happen. They got to make Madison Central put that ball on the ground, create some turnovers.
All right, we have a 2nd and 5. The ball at the East Brunswick 28.
It's Coelho.
Coelho again, a flag, and we may have a hold there.
What's going to be the call. The Madison Central Spartans moving back, acknowledging the long penalty.
You know, we kind of touched on it at the opening of the game, the pregame show, if you will, about Bob DeMarco. And I can recall last year being at Madison Central for the East Brunswick game, and a lot of people in the crowd saying, you know, what is he doing? He's playing these kids. And he was preparing. He was preparing for 91, quite honestly.
Well, again, as I put it before, there are a lot of people question that, though. You know, is it giving up on these seniors? Who's to say?
Who's to say? It's a choice.
I hate
That's
to
right.
say it, guys, but there's a lot of underclassmen on that team, too, including the quarterback and the top running back.
Ooh.
2nd and 15. And that play goes nowhere. And that was Adlac.
And Docio's hurt. He came in there, closed down there fast, and he comes up limping. And you certainly don't want to lose anyone, but you don't want to lose Jay Adocio, the heart of your defense there.
He's the plug in the middle.
The clock moving. We're down to 11 minutes left in this game. And Madison Central will be facing a 3rd and 14 from the East Brunswick 33.
Interesting call here.
Arneo is going to put it in the air.
Whoa, he's
And
nailed.
he is nailed solid.
Yeah, well, East Brunswick came with a full blitz there, and Wolfskill's the one that finally nailed Arneo.
Nailed him is an understatement.
Yep. They were
Wolfskill
expecting
flattened
pass. It was one of the few predictable situations where you kind of knew Madison Central was going to throw, and East Brunswick was ready for it.
Madison Central will punt for only the 2nd time this evening. And I'm assuming they're going to punt.
Right. And,
But they're facing a 4th and 22.
And that's Sabini back. He has a strong foot also.
Johnson back deep, along with Habib, and whistles will stop the play.
You saw Varick running across the line trying to anticipate the count.
Well, fortunately, 5 yards isn't going to do much in terms of being of any benefit to Madison Central.
I think well, somebody just came. I think East Brunswick only had 10 men on that.
No, it was
That wouldn't be a penalty, though.
No, not a penalty, but I just saw 45 carry and just walk onto the field.
This 5 yards may make a big difference if this kid has the type of leg that you say, Jim, that if it goes in the end zone, it's going to deny him of a good run back.
Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah, and if you can do that against Johnson, you've really done.
And a
this is
fake.
Fake.
And this is Lige with the carry.
Wow, look at him go. He's got the first.
I don't believe it. Wow.
Great call.
I tell you, really hurts.
Yeah.
Really hurts. You got to believe. I don't think they would have done that play with the 5 additional yards. As you can see, he's just 2 yards over the first down.
And I'll tell you what, you caught East Brunswick flat-footed. They were not even thinking of a fake there.
Well, I think it's caught everyone flat-footed. I know I was.
Well, John, you actually questioned it at the top that perhaps maybe they aren't going to punt, but
they didn't.
Wow.
No, they didn't. So it's 1st and 10 for the Spartans. Ball at the East Brunswick 19. Arneo inside. No, he still has it.
Right. He got himself some nice yards.
I'll tell you, Bob DeMarco just wants to keep that ball. It's not enough that he keeps it on offense. Comes up and he's in several games now, and he's pulled the trick play. Last week was the hook and ladder against Edison. I believe it was the halfback pass. So he's been known to get a trick play in there.
And that, Phil, may have been for next week's opponent rather than East Brunswick. 2nd and 6, ball at the 15. 8:40 remaining in the game. Arneo goes down the line and is going to be dragged down by Varick.
Well, interestingly enough, I believe that Madison has a week off, or they could be playing in the playoffs next week, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think they're 6-1 right now.
Right.
Okay, so this would bring them to 7-1 and leave only a remaining game against Cedar Ridge on Thanksgiving Day.
This won't be an easy game.
No, Cedar Ridge is having a fairly decent year this year. They have a tough opponent in Bishop Bar tonight, but still.
3rd and 9. That's Lige. He won't pick up the first, but it may be in field goal range for Herbert.
Definitely.
And Herbert comes trotting out with the tee. And all I'm going to say is I think they're going to attempt a field goal.
This is a 30-yarder. He should really not have any problem reaching this.
And a sidewinder at that.
Yeah. Here we go for the field goal. And Herbert drills it through and makes it 17-0. Madison Central with 7:19 remaining in the game.
And I'll tell you, the fake punt was the big play, of course, and the 3 points is a big 3 points.
Yeah, they'll take it. So that just makes it more difficult for East Brunswick to battle back. They would surely like to get on the scoreboard against this Madison Central team.
And of course, 17-0 was the score the Bears beat Madison Central by last year. And and Madison Central would be very happy to end the game right here.
Yes, they would.
Herbert, one of the bright spots this year, considering somewhat of a drought in kickers.
And the thing about he's just a sophomore.
Oh, they're loaded with underclassmen. Arneo is a junior. Atlac, we mentioned, was the sophomore. A bunch of their linemen are also underclassmen.
Herbert dinks one. And this is Christensen. And he fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by Madison Central.
Will they say he's down?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, that hurts.
That could be the nail.
Well, it's just the fact that your defense has to go back out there again. It's just unkind. And against any other type of offense, it might not be so bad. But against this ball control, drive it at you, keep coming at you type thing, they may very well just.
Oh, they'll slow it up significantly here. Arneo's still in a quarterback, John.
Inside of 7 minutes. 1st and 10 on the East Brunswick 37.
Okay.
And he's dropped.
Doshio drops him in his tracks. And Doshio having, again, another fine year. 2nd leading tackler on this Bear team.
A loss of 2. Call it 2nd and 12. Arneo has it, steps up, finds the little crease.
Good tackle by Johnson.
Gets to the East Brunswick 35. So a pickup of about 2, bring up a 3rd down.
And that clock runs.
How many times have we seen this with Madison Central? Just eat up time. Arneo, he's going to put it in the air, and he's going to be dropped.
He got him that time. Well, at least East Brunswick has smoked out that passing opportunity.
Okay, Jay Adosho and Mark Wolfskill in on the tackle there.
Clock running down, 5:16 remaining.
4th down.
It's almost the exact
4th and 8.
place on the field where they tried that fake the last time, huh?
And the Bears will be watching this time,
Zabini.
but the Spartans will punt this time.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Low snap. Zabini gets it off. Low kick. Johnson will field it.
Oh, hell of a
at
shot
about
here.
the 7. Comes straight up, breaks to the outside, and
Ooh.
slips at the 30.
Whoa, watch that block there. That was after the play.
He'll spot it just over the 30-yard line.
And I'll tell you, you know the Bears want to get something on the board here. They really do. And you can expect them to pull out all the stops, maybe some trickery themselves.
Well, we ought to talk about next week's opponent, huh?
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah,
Saraville.
Saraville.
The Bombers.
Saraville presently 5-3 with an opportunity. Excuse me, I think they're 5-3, 4-3. That's what it is, with an opportunity tonight to go up to 5-3 if they beat North Brunswick, which is 1-6.
Neary finds his man. That's Habib. I'm sorry, it's Tenora.
And
Right.
it appears to be a 1st down.
Well, the clock stops. I think what's fascinating about the Saraville game is that in the long history that these two teams have been playing, Saraville's only managed to win 1 time.
That's right.
And they are licking their chops, I can assure you, about coming over here to East Brunswick and playing the Bears on what is seemingly a down year for them.
East Brunswick quickly. Neary from the shotgun. Looks to the outside for Johnson. Wide.
For a while there, Phil, I thought Saraville was going to have a little run at the playoffs, but they dropped a really hard game to Woodbridge,
Right.
3-0, and that really sort of clamped it down. If they had not lost that game, conceivably they could be in the running for that 4th spot.
It's just amazing how certain teams have other teams' numbers.
Yeah, really. Woodbridge does on Saraville.
Well, keep in mind, too, if I'm not mistaken, that game was played in a heavy rain that East Brunswick postponed. I think it was the Edison game that same Friday night.
Right.
Anyway, Neary again from the shotgun on a 2nd and 10. Looks over the middle and just
Nice
short.
catch.
I don't know if they're gonna say no.
He scooped it.
Ooh. I tried for him.
Tenora doing his best. 3rd and 10. Ball at the East Brunswick 41.
That ball must be slippery. Neary seems to have a lot of problems throwing the ball this half.
This has to be a look into Johnson.
Neary looking for Tenora, but again wide and short. And Neary leveled after he threw the ball.
I tell you, Neary took a few too many shots, I thought, last weekend. They're picking up right here. He's starting to get it pounding late in the game, and you really don't want to. You really don't want to see that happen.
All right, they're gonna go for it here, obviously.
Well, Neary's coming out of the game. Well, Neary's going back in the game.
Some confusion here. I don't think there's 11 players on the team, quite frankly.
And they'll take a timeout to get this organized.
They only have 25 seconds to get the play off, and they're running close.
I don't think it's premature to say, look at next year for this East Brunswick team, number of returners, maybe the JV teams, what's coming up.
Sure.
Well, their 8th grade was undefeated. I think their 9th grade lost 1 game. They had successful Pop Warner teams. The Junior Pee Wees Golden Bears were undefeated.
You think they're going to reach down for them?
I don't know. But
I'll tell you what's shaping up as an interesting situation is with Neary graduating, it will be Habib or Varick that would be the successor, one would think. Now, Varick obviously had his problems running the offense, but given a full opportunity to develop, maybe he might be the one that he could be going at. Now, I don't know who's on the freshman ranks here.
Right. Probably. Well, let's see the play.
All right, let's 4th and 10 from their own 41. East Brunswick's got to go. Neary, 3 men to the right side. He rolls that way.
He could run if he wanted to.
And he does, and he drops the ball. That ball's on the ground.
Well, that was a 4th down play, John.
And Neary actually hit the knee, I believe, of one of the Madison Central players as he was thrown down.
I'll tell you, too many shots. And Mark Neary gets up, walks to the sidelines. He appears to be all right, holding his chest right now. But he's taking a lot of shots.
And he'll take a much-deserved rest on the bench. And they'll come over and tend to him as Madison Central will take over on downs. And they will have it 1st and 10. Ball at the East Brunswick 42. And they have 3 minutes and 50 seconds to work with. Arneo still in at quarterback. Has it. Typical play we've seen all night, and he's got a big hole. And there's, could have been a late hit there, but they didn't call it.
And Mark
Wolfskull
is hurting bad.
Shoulders bothering him.
He's hurting badly. He's down on the field, and
it's been a chronic problem for him all year.
He's in pain, I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's
and another East Brunswick player is down further down the field.
That's Carry On, 45. He's up.
I'll tell you, Mark Wolfskill, a 5'10", 210-pound senior, and appears to be in some pain. They're checking him right now. And been a big part of the Bear year, injuries, and we talked about it. Wolfskill earlier in the year, Neary earlier in the year, Tenura earlier in the year, John Halley out now, Dave Dixon out, Eric Phillips out, and a lot of injuries.
A couple of players on the line that which will be returning next year is Gerbevac, I believe he's a junior, and also Nick Szymanski. He's also a junior. But we'll be able to talk about the seniors next week in our final home game.
As we usually do. Become a tradition for us here at Channel 8. Wolfskill walks off and receives a much-deserved round of applause.
You know, John, aside from the rain, which put a damper on things, this really isn't a chilly evening.
We're lucky,
like you would think in the middle of November. So we've been fortunate in that respect.
First down was picked up by Arneo. They have it at the East Brunswick 28, 3:10 remaining in the game. Spartans on top 17-0. And Coelho on the carry. Never saw the ball really the first half. Carried a lot the second half.
Oh, Coelho, he does such a fine job defensively at his linebacker slot, so a lot of times you want to give him a reward offensively late in the game. But he had that fine touchdown run earlier. So he's, as Jimmy pointed out, they're all interchangeable.
2nd and about 2. Arneo again to Coelho. I'm sorry, it was Atlack on the carry. Who's been kind of quiet this second half.
They throw so many people at you, you know, you really don't miss them. Coelho's been doing his job. Iacono is called on occasionally. Lige has played. Arneo has done a lot of running.
Well, as you mentioned, Jim, a lot of depth on this team. And they're young, as you said. So
they are young.
Doesn't bode well for the opponents next year. 145. Arneo will keep it. He's got the first down.
Ooh, he took a shot there.
And he pops right up.
Huh?
I'll tell you, you got less than 2 minutes, a minute and a half to go in the game, and you got your quarterback running out there taking a shot to the chest.
I thought the same thing.
Well, they have that week off. And now it's just competition with the clock.
An awful lot of discussion about what the next play was going to be. Arneo with DeMarco, so let's see.
He may be yelling at him for running that ball. He follows Atlack up the middle. And when you got Coelho sitting back there, I don't know why you're running with that thing.
Well, if it's...
But you're keeping true to the wishbone, so.
Yeah.
There may be a time not to be true to the wishbone. True, they got Jim Iacono, who's an adept quarterback himself, but with a minute to go,
Well,
I can think of better things than running my quarterback.
Yeah, they're going to let the clock run down here.
We're down to 40 seconds left.
And this could be the last play. We'll see.
And the way they're set up with Lige,
Yeah, they're gonna sit down on this one.
And I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's the last play right there.
That would do it. I tell you, years gone by, when I think back to the South River days and stuff, hey, that thing's going to get punched in. But one of the things.
There's a second left, right?
But one of the things in the GMC with Frank Knoppenberger getting this sportsmanship award,
Sure.
teams are conscious of it. And
and DeMarco's a very gracious winner, too. He has a good relationship with Borden. And
that'll
rather
do it.
Yeah, workmanlike win for Madison Central.
And once again, Marcus Borden is the leader, first person out on the field. He doesn't shy back from things, win or lose.
So unfortunately, John, that prevents East Brunswick from coming back. They had a real good run there, 3 victories, and if they could have won this one, it would have set up the game next week against Saraville to have the winning season, but that's not to be.
Well, there'll be a lot of pride at stake next week for the East Brunswick Bears, and also they want to win as a stepping stone to the next season.
Absolutely.
But we can't take anything away from a fine performance by Madison Central tonight. Workmanlike, but they did what they had to do, nothing flashy. And a good team, they're back.
They're a good team, they're back. They obviously have some talent. The Bears played fought very hard themselves. I know they would like to score. They just, as I pointed out, came across the teams whose defense isn't giving up a touchdown a game. So just a tough game. They're going to start wondering whether we're the jinx or not. John, seems whenever we show them, they don't come away with the victory. But they have been playing great ball as of late, these East Brunswick Bears. So we hope a lot of fans will come out for Saraville.
Well, our final, once again, from J. Doyle Field, it's Madison Central 17, East Brunswick nothing. So for Phil Hill and Jim Allinder, I'm John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us.